Happy Wednesday, everyone. So let's go ahead and move on to the next page in our digital learning. So we're on day 3. So we are working on writing algebraic expressions, and our standard is write algebraic expressions. So pretty much what the title is, which we've worked a little bit on this in our warm-ups, but we might need more help with this. So let's work through a little bit together. So word problems, so algebraic expressions are just word problems that use expressions that you can write with symbols. An algebraic expression has at least one variable. A variable is a letter or symbol that represents one or more numbers. Writing algebraic expressions for words helps you solve word problems. Okay, and remember in our notebook we wrote down some different words that mean add, subtract, multiply, and divide. We also had some for exponents, but since there are none here, most likely none of these problems will involve exponents. Okay, so these are some common words for those operations that are being used. So for adding, we can see if we see sum, increased by, plus, or more than, that makes us think, okay, we're adding. For subtract, difference, minus, decreased by, less, less than. So if we see any of those, that tells us, okay, we need to make sure we're using our subtraction symbol. For multiply, the main two they gave us here is product and times. And for divide, quotient and divided by. Okay, so let's look at the example. 17 more than x. Okay, so more than, it means add. And 17 more than x, means add 17 to x. So that means the first part of the expression, the first term, needs to be x. Then we're putting our plus sign for more than, and 17 is going at the end. So x plus 17. Let's see another example. 4 times the sum of 7 and n. So times means to multiply, sum means to add. Okay, the words mean multiply by 4. So that means we have to keep 7 plus n together, which means we're using parentheses to keep them together. So the final answer would be 4 times, and then 7 plus n is in parentheses. So a number next to a variable always shows multiplication. So for example, if we put 5n, that means the same as 5 times n, which we've gone over before, but that's a great reminder. So let's go ahead and try 2 together. Write an algebraic expression for the word expression. So number 1, b divided by 9. So let's go ahead and write our symbol, our operation above what we see. So if it says divided by, let's go ahead and put our division symbol, and then let's just bring it down. So division symbol, and we're starting with b, and we're dividing by 9. So 9 is at the end, and that's our final expression. Pretty simple, but sometimes it can get you a little bit thrown off, so just be careful. So let's go to number 2. C more than 5. So if you forget what more than means, always look back to the top, and more than is over here with add. So I'm coming back, and I'm going to put a plus sign above more than, so I know I'm adding. And if C is more than 5, that means the C has to be at the end, plus sign right before C, and 5 is then in the beginning. Okay, remember the example we had, more than. Remember, it was 17 more than x, so that means 17 was added to x, 17 went to the end. So that is a very similar answer to what we just had, okay, using different terms. All right, so go ahead and pause the video, try the rest of the problems on this page, and then we'll come back and check our answers. Okay, let's go over our answers. So let's go with the odd numbers first. So number 3 was d minus 29, which for decreased by means subtract. For number 5, p increased by 12, so it's p plus 12. And then for number 7, 17 less than the product of 3 and m. So that means 3 and m have to make sure they're staying together and being multiplied, which either use the parentheses, 3 times m, or you can go ahead and just put them together because a number next to a variable means to multiply, so you can do 3m. And if you see a number and then it says less than, that tells you that that number has to go to the end of the expression. And for less than, that means we're subtracting. So 3 times m minus 17, or 3 times m minus 17 because 3m means multiply. So just remember that. Let's go ahead and go to our even numbers and check those out. So for number 4, it was 8 times g. So we're multiplying 8 times g, or remember, you can just write the number next to the variable. That means multiply 8g. Number 6, the quotient of k and 14. So that means we're dividing. For quotient, k divided by 14, or remember, fraction, if you set something up as a fraction, that means we're dividing. So you can put k over 14. It means the same thing. And then number 8, we have 2 less than. Remember when I said if it's a number, then it says less than, we need to keep that number at the end. And in front of it, we're subtracting. Okay, so 2 less than the quotient means we are dividing d and 16. So here's one way we can write it. We want to keep d and 16 being divided in a parentheses because they need to stay together. So d divided by 16 minus 2. And if you are dividing, if you forget the parentheses here, that would be okay, only because in an expression we would divide before subtracting, but just try to get in the habit of, if you know something needs to stay together, put parentheses around it. Another way, remember, for dividing, you can set it up as a fraction, d over 16, and then just minus 2. So here, you don't have to do any parentheses. So sometimes I like writing fractions instead of division because it means the same thing, but it's a little less work. So you can always do it that way too. Either answer would be correct. Let's go ahead and go to the back of the page. Try one together, then you can try the rest on your own. Okay, we are on the back of the page. There are 16 ounces in 1 pond. Well, 1 pond. I mean 1 pound. Sorry about that. Which expression gives the number of ounces in p pounds? So they're saying that we're using p for our pounds. So if there is 1 pound, that is the same thing as 16 ounces. So for every 1 is 16, so that means we're multiplying. Okay, so this is adding. We don't want to do that because if we say that there's 2 pounds, we would say 2 plus 16. No, we would be multiplying 2 times 16. This also does not show that. Right here, C shows that we're multiplying. So every time we increase pounds, every time we increase pounds by 1 or by 2 or whatever, that means 16 is increasing. So if it was 5 pounds, we would do 16 times 5. So this is the only one that will work. So let's go ahead and put C. Okay, try the rest of the problems on the back of this page and go ahead and pause and then come back and check your answers. Okay, let's go ahead and check our answers. So number 2, that is B, which is 2n minus 5. If you see twice, that means we're going to multiply by 2, and here it tells us that n represents width, so it's going to have to be 2 times n for sure, which many of these answers have that. But then it says 5 feet shorter than. 5 has to go at the end, and shorter than means we are subtracting. So B is the only correct answer. For number 3 and 4, so 3 was B. So it says $200 a day for the boat, which has to have 200. And then N is for gallons of gas, and it's $4 for each gallon of gas. So every time you use a gallon of gas, we need to multiply by 4. So 4 times N plus the $200 a day, which only comes out to B being the correct answer. And then for 4, the answer is A, because if we're trying to find the number of feet and we know the number of miles, we would multiply the amount of miles by 5,280 feet, which only works out that it's A. And number 5, Mark's height is H, and Suzanne is 7 inches shorter than Mark. Did I say Mike? It's Mark. So we have to make sure we're subtracting by 7, the height minus 7. And then for the last one, you can write it either or. So it's going to be $10. So this is very similar to the boat answer for number 3. So $10 has to be added to the amount of money per hour use. So H is for hour. So we have to multiply 4 times the hour 4 times the hour and add 10. So you can write it either way. Both would be correct. Okay, so I hope you understood how to write algebraic expressions. Let us know if you have any questions. You can email me, leave a comment on this video, anything. I will try to get back to you. See you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.